Hey guys, Mr. E here. Do you want to be able to do this? Well, and I've got the build for you. That's right, everyone. Thunderhammer is back. Thunderhammer, and more specifically, Thunderhammer Shroudfield Zealot, has always sort of been a thing in Darktide. In the very early days of Darktide, people figured out that these two things combined can make some very, very silly boss damage, and then Fat Shark took the nerf to it a couple of times. They really didn't like that combination of traits where it could just instantly bonk these creatures, they're quote-unquote bosses to death. And so they went ahead and patched it so that this weapon has more headshot damage but less damage to bosses, and it was sad times. But fortunately, they just dumped a metric fuckload of damage, just raw damage, on the Zealot talent tree and made Martyrdom like crazy cracked good, and therefore we have the Thunderhammer coming back. Now, is it going to be the best weapon in the world on the Zealot? No, but it is actually quite a useful role to play, to be a Zealot who can just instantly delete these bosses. Bosses are all over the place, especially in higher levels of content. Auric, it has captains now. You can encounter the captain spawning totems in those event missions that are going on right now. There's also, of course, Havoc to consider, where there's tons of monstrosities, minor monstrosities that are spawning in place of specials, captains, twins, etc., etc. So there's tons of reasons to run a big target eliminator like the Thunderhammer, and I'm very glad that we have a build here that can do it, and it mostly eliminates that slow feeling, the really, like, encumbering feeling that it is to use the Thunderhammer. It's not going to be a weapon that keeps up pound for pound with the dueling sword, or it's not going to do that DPS on common enemies, but when it comes to bosses, it is unrivaled, really. Okay, so let's get into it here. And first, let me remind you, if you want more fun builds like this, hopefully you can find something that really sticks with you and you get some enjoyment out of, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be doing more build content and breaking down what weapons are really working in this new patch and which ones have lost out in the days to come. So thanks for watching. Okay, we got the Thunderhammer here. Crucis Thunderhammer, of course, the better one. Crucis is going to dump defenses. We don't need that. Then for perks, Carapace Unyielding, that's Crushers, and of course bosses themselves, the two big health enemies that we are being brought along to get rid of. For blessings, we want Slaughter and Thrust. Slaughter is, you're going to really notice this when you get into a horde and you start sweeping. At first you might not be able to kill small enemies in one hit, but after 1 or 2 kills, you'll kill them all in one hit, and then you'll be able to cascade that up and start killing like shotgunners in one hit with the heavy sweeps. So you're just moving around and roving and knocking heads off the shoulders. Then for Thrust, that is here for pretty obvious reasons. We charge this thing up to absolute max if we're dunking on bosses, and this is a massive damage multiplier to everything else we do. This is a 1.6x multiplier just flat on top of all the other damage that we're going to do at the end of the day. So very nice setup for what we intend to do. For a ranged weapon, I think overall probably your best ranged weapon. It's circumstantial. If you're playing on Havoc or really high difficulties, it's almost always just going to be Flamer. We don't need the Bolter necessarily, because the Bolter is generally like an anti-bossing weapon. But Flamer is just such a useful weapon to have on the Zealot. It's something unique that he can bring and only he can bring. And if you're using Flamer, I don't know what happened to my Flamer. I definitely had a very well-rolled Flamer at some point. I'll have to do that again in a day or two. But the best way to run Flamer is Blaze Away and then Brittly, the one that gives you brittleness on there for the blessings. And yeah, it's just a really efficient weapon, pound for pound, ammo for ammo, in terms of just getting rid of a horde. It'll just solve one horde for you, at least from one direction, for 1 tank of gas, and that's a nice quality to have. However, if you have horde clear or whatever covered on your team and you want a little bit more utility, you could do what I recommended with the Eviscerator build, I believe, which is run a mobility weapon, something to counteract the fact that the Thunderhammer is so crazy slow to move with and sustain your stamina a little better, like the Vrax here, which you can run Strip Down with and do that sprint efficiency stamina, so you can run, and this will allow you to close the gap through enemy fire without getting shot, or you can increase the gap and get away from enemy fire if you really, really need to. I think in the footage you'll see in a minute I'm using the bolter because it's just a general all-around weapon, and I didn't think too much of it, but you know, a lot of stuff can work. We're really here for the Thunderhammer bonks, okay, guys? That's what you want to see. We got some toughness, wound, and wound, because we're going martyrdom, so we need 2 wounds and then a toughness curio. On those 3, you'll want to have some combination of combat ability regen. Usually I take all 3 for this one. Stamina regen. Usually I take 2. 2 gunner damage resistance, and then 2 ally revive speed. So with those combined, I think that's a really nice setup. Gunner damage resist is very nice, especially when you've got a slow-moving build like this, because you're going to get caught by gunners eventually, and gunners have the potential to kill you, but with all the damage resist plus that, we can actually just kind of like get away from them instead of having to waste our stealth. You really don't want to end up wasting your stealth when you don't have to just to escape from some gunners. So that allows you to just kind of face tank them and slide through them for a second. Here's our talent tree. We're taking Disdain up here first. Disdain is really going to be obvious. The damage increase you'll get when you are cleaving hordes and getting through stuff. This is at the very least, right, 5% damage every time you hit an enemy, and it can go up to 25% damage if you're cleaving. And then, of course, we've got Backstabber over here, just for obvious reasons. Second Wind, Duelist, Purge the Unclean. Coming down here, I take daggers still. I love daggers. I think they're very nice. Then Until Death. Over here is Sustained Assaults, stacking 20% damage. Don't forget to do this before you go in hard on a boss, unless you know you're going to have overkill to kill them. Make sure you do some quick bonking to get your stacks of Sustained Assault up so you get 20% extra damage. And then we take Holy Revenant, and Against the Odds. This is a great talent. I mean, they knew what they were doing with the design of the icon here, but this is a great talent for specifically the Thunderhammer. The Thunderhammer struggles with cleave when you are dealing with hordes. It does enough damage to kill enemies, but it only kills about 3 enemies at a time, and so this will boost our cleave by 50% when we're actually surrounded by enemies, and therefore you'll feel the difference, like, very noticeably when you're getting through hordes. Shield of Contempt, great 1-point pickup here. This is a very useful node, and the problem with it is it's very hard to notice when it is going into effect, because it's just a defense buff that just passively triggers. But it can protect you, it can protect allies. The way it works is it's basically like, imagine there's a little fairy who floats over your shoulder, and there's only one fairy, and when your ally takes damage, it zips over to them, and for the next 4 seconds it protects them, and then it goes on cooldown for the next 4 seconds, and then every 8 seconds it's ready to go again. So if it's on your ally, it won't then come back to you in the duration, at least per my testing. It's a very difficult one to test, but yeah, when it's on your ally, it can't also be on you, but it can really help to save an ally who's in a bad situation, like getting trapped and they're getting the shit beat out of them. It'll go on them because they're starting to take damage, and it acts like a bark skin for anyone on the team. So it's a really nice team play, and it can also obviously save your life if you get caught in a situation where there's a gunner who's like blasting you down. 60% damage reduction to health and toughness is huge. Then Wrath Be Swift for obvious reasons, great for two-handed slow weapons like this. Unseen Blade for obvious reasons, good balance. Then Zealous. Then we're going to take Shroud Field with all of the modifiers here. We're going to come down here and get movement speed and time to kill. This is the one you'll have to kind of micromanage. I put this one on my buff bar so that I can see when I have the buff up, or rather when it's not cooling down. And this plus this, when those stars align and you get the full charge on the Thunderhammer and you get a crit backstab headshot, because you can get headshots through enemies like chaos spawns and stuff like that, that all aligns in for massive damage, and that's the idea. And then here we're going Martyr's Purpose, Faith's Fortitude, Unfaltering. This node right here, which I for some reason had the wrong talents equipped when I was in game, and you'll notice I don't have this, but playing with this is so much better for quality of life. It allows you to not have to slide to close gaps on enemies when you're holding down the hammer, which is a massive difference. And then of course Martyrdom, the thing that makes this whole build really kind of work. The attack speed buffs and of course the flat damage buffs are just they are a perfect match for Thunderhammer. The animations of Thunderhammer are all sped up by that attack speed, so it'll allow you to reset and get another charge and then do another bonk very, very quickly. So you can just dump these into bosses over and over and over. Even without your stealth, you still do considerable damage with backstabs, and especially if this triggers during that duration. So that's the build, guys. I hope it looks fun when you watch this gameplay here. This is Havoc 30, I believe. There's a lot of good boss killing mixed in here. There are going to be a couple cuts because I did crash out, like not mentally, but I crashed. My game crashed in the middle and I had to reconnect. But yeah, you'll see some absolute boss dunkage, and I think I like to think I contributed to the team with this, even though it was one of my first runs with the build. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.
Hide myself. Efficient Psyker! I'll grant you that. The barrel is going to explode!
What? Are you expected somewhere else?
Show me what you got!
Kill that sniper!
The hour of your death! Not yet come back!
Goodbye, priest.
What prophet? Medication!
He's dead!
In the darkness, I judge. Beyond the light.
Enough to kill.
Battle is upon us!
Stay close by.
Copy that! Of course!
That's a simple enough talent!
Another abomination!
You killed it, did you, Zealot?
Of course!
Start by practicing what you
to offer advice of the spirit, should you require it.
And were I to require it,
thank you.
you would be first to know.
Ah, excellent! Well, I am at your disposal when the need arises.
I hope you are a patient man.
Welcome to Ragtown. The crown jewel is victorious, such as it is.
Barrel exploded!
It's gonna blow!
Get shook it up!
Get shot for that! Get shot for the golden fucking drop! Oh, I can say that!
I suppose.
Never see me!
Muti's dead!
Shocking cry! Face your maker!
Look it! Take it!
It was worth bringing the psycho, it seems. Next him! Perish, bomber! A hellhound! Hound! Line up and fight! Practice three! Fire! Shotgun up! The righteous need no light. What is that stench?
Look at that!
I walk far from the light.
Now that psych is efficient, I'll give him that. My
Let it be so. Emperor, hide.
Where someone's always spying if you're selling. No questions asked.
Shadows concealed. Impressive work, Psycho. Into the darkness.
Scream, scream, it's
Getting right through. Show these narratives they cannot hide! Destruction, Psyker! I grant you that. Master! Keep it in a distance! Get back!
You ever make a decision you regret, even now?
Nothing that I would admit to in this for you could be very, very bad. Reload and prioritize your target.
Cleanse this place! One mutant attack! The hound is coming! Emperor, walk with me in this shuttle! You! And I! Will resist the Emperor! The Master is no more! Into shadow, out of sight.
That should stop the bomb. The music. No.
You will need more discipline. This one wins more.
In my experience, excessive discipline is a fight.
Blind these heretics, I pray.
Fire combination.
So do we abhor. I am called judgment. I work best in the darkness.
There is no escape from the left.
Beyond the light. You can't hide from judgment, sniper! My golden friggin' drum! Beware! Of course!
Don't wait! Bomber sighted!
Moratova! That one!
For the Emperor!
Of course! In battle, shall we scourge the sins of our mortals? Death to the bomber! Show me what
feel alive.
I'm in